Should you get a dog to motivate you to walk every day, to get more exercise? That is not a really simple question. I have these 3 border collies, and they do motivate me to get out when the weather's not good or I just don't feel like it. Maybe I'm lazy, but they need to get out every day. My name is Danelle, and I have been a dog trainer since about 1989. I have had a dog training business where I helped people. I have trained and certified 3 different search and rescue dogs here in Southeast Alaska. So dogs are kind of my area of passion and expertise. So let's get into the pros and cons of getting a dog to get you more active. Let's start with the pros. The pros, as I see them, and as I've seen for many of my dog training clients, is that dogs do inspire you to get out even when the weather is bad. Like I said, they make my walks more fun. They make me laugh. They just give me company when I don't have anybody else to walk with, like this morning. And they just are inspiring. They're fun to watch. Some of the cons, as we probably all know with dogs, is yes, they are a lot of work. They can be expensive. This dog of mine right here in front, that's Henry. He is 2 years old. This summer, he swallowed part of a toy, started acting sick, and it cost me $5,300 to pay for his surgery that was needed. And my friends, through a GoFundMe, helped me to pay for that. Unfortunately, my trusty old Suburban also had to be replaced during that time, had a broken frame. So that was a big financial hit. So you got to think about the finances when you add a dog. And also, they can just be a lot of work. Even if you're deadly sick, you have a fever, you are miserable, they need to be fed. They need to be let out, at least to go to the bathroom, if not for a walk. If you have really super active working dogs like I do, I will take them out for a short walk, even if I have a fever, even if I can barely move. Partly because they need it, partly because I'm selfish and I don't want to be lying around sick in my house with them being pesty, and they will be barking and restless if they do not get out for some sort of exercise. A lot of studies show that there is a lot of benefit to having a pet of any kind, not just a dog, to just keep you company. It keeps you forced to care for the animal. We also have a pet lizard, a bearded dragon named Sans, and he also needs care. So if what you want isn't an animal to go out for walks or to force you to get out and be more active, just having a cat, a guinea pig, a lizard can just be good company, and it's someone to care for every day. Even just making the lizard Sans his little salads every day, and I have to take care of the roaches that we feed him, so even the roaches need their salad and their food. So that can be also really good for us to have another creature to care for. What kind of dog would I recommend for most people? What comes to the top of mind when people ask me, which they often do, what breed of dog should I get? What's the best one? I gotta switch arms. My arm's getting tired. Good thing I'm doing my resistance training every day. The breed that often comes to my mind as being a great combination of healthy, sociable, and capable of taking walks and being active is the poodle. I know now a lot of people are buying poodle mixes. So there's labradoodles and golden doodles. There's Aussie Doodles with Australian Shepherd mixed in. And I have met a lot of great doodle breeds, or doodle mixes. I don't want to offend the breeders out there. But they can be very sociable, very sweet. I'm not really sure why people would rather have a poodle mix instead of a purebred poodle, but anything with poodle seems to be really good. Poodles are pretty easy to train. They can go for really long hikes, but they're not going to be crazy like these guys if they miss a day of walking. So the biggest challenge with poodles, and even worse with doodles, is our grooming challenge. The doodles, especially with the mix of the poodle hair and the lab or golden or Australian Shepherd in there, can create some kind of challenging coat textures. I know a lot of breeders say that they're one of the most difficult ones to groom. So people who have doodles should definitely have a groomer on board and get their help with maintaining their coat. Another breed that I know a lot of people here in Ketchikan have had success with is the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. They're small, so they don't take up a lot of room. They're playful, they're sweet, they're sociable, they're really cute. Their fur is easier to take care of than a poodle or a doodle. And you do have to be careful with those. They do have some genetic difficulties with their heart. Golden retrievers, speaking of health difficulties, are having some problems with a lot of cancer in their lines. So how do you choose a breeder if you go with a purebred? Get references from the breeder. Don't just go online and type in golden doodle and just buy from anybody. You can find great dogs from backyard breeders. You can find great dogs from famous, highly regarded breeders, but you can get bad dogs from all of those places too. And buying a puppy, should you get a puppy or an adult? We all know puppies are a lot of work. You can't just leave them at home all day while you go to work. You need to be there. They have to be housebroken. Really, really energetic breeds like these border collies, even though they're very smart, they took longer to housebreak. They're just too busy. They don't want to focus on housebreaking. So think about that with a puppy. Puppies can be destructive. They're going to bite your hands. They're going to bite your clothes. That's just the way puppies play. So you have to expect that. And they will grow out of it. But the first few months with a puppy is a lot of intensive work. You have to be prepared to spend a lot of time with them, to be very patient, to do some training. So whether you get a puppy or adopt an adult, plan to enroll in a training class. There are a lot of different trainers to choose from. There are a lot of the pure positive trainers out there these days. It's kind of the new thing. I prefer a trainer that is more balanced and will teach you how to stop or correct bad behaviors, as well as reward the behaviors you want. That gives you the fastest, most effective results. So find yourself a trainer. If you want to adopt a dog, especially an adult dog, it can be hard to go to a shelter and know what kind of personality that dog has. Really, really sweet, good dogs can behave very badly when locked in a kennel run, especially if they've been there for a while. They're extremely stressed. They're likely to bark and even look aggressive at the cage because they're really unhappy. They're really stressed out. So if you're going to adopt an older dog, I actually think the best way to do it is to get one that has been living in a foster home, because the foster family can learn so much about how the dog behaves in a natural home environment. They can tell you whether that dog chases cats. They can tell you whether that dog is difficult to walk on leash. They can tell you if it's a loud, barky dog. And so they can screen a lot of those basic behaviors for you so you can find the kind of dog that you would like. You need to figure out, too, what kind of a dog would you like? Do you want a spunky terrier that acts before it thinks and does hilarious things and gets itself into all kinds of trouble and is really bold and assertive? Or do you want a more mild-mannered dog like a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel or a Maltese that is more quiet, maybe a little more reserved? Shetland sheepdogs, really, really great dogs, also a bit of a grooming challenge. But Shetland sheepdogs can be a little bit reserved. They can be a little bit barky. So what kind of dog do you want? If you are not really into training and taking long hikes and really working with a dog, don't get a working breed. A lot of the herding breeds like the healers, border collies, Belgian Malinois, German shepherds, they do learn easily. They are easy to train, but the downside is they need a lot of training to be civilized. A lot of the breeds that aren't particularly easy to train, like Whippets or Greyhounds or even Siberian Huskies, they aren't really considered one of the easiest dogs to train, but usually they are just naturally more calm and civilized and quiet, so they really don't need as much training to be good pets as do border collies and Belgian Malinois and the ones famous for being so smart and trainable. So think about that. If you're not going to spend hours per week training the dog, you don't want to work really hard at that. You just want a companion to enhance your life and to take nice walks with. Choose from the non-working breeds. If you want a working breed like a Labrador, there are very distinct lines that you can get more mellow ones. So with the Labradors, there's what they call the English lines. They're heavier, more chunky, more laid back. So that can be a good choice if you really want a working breed, is to find more the pet lines, the show lines, than the working lines. I purposefully got, there's a lot of ice here. I purposely got from the working lines because I wanted to do search and rescue with my dogs. So I need dogs that are pretty crazy and high energy. So that all of those considerations are pretty good. So some of the breeds that are really, really nice to live with have other physical problems, so I would recommend them with caution, like the French Bulldogs, the Pugs, any dog that has a flat face, Shih Tzus. They have breathing issues, and that personally would stress me out to hear my dog wheezing and snoring. It can cause them some heart issues. It can cause them other kinds of health issues with the wrinkles in their face. But I have met some really funny French Bulldogs. They do have a really funny personality. A breed that is really fun, speaking of French Bulldogs, closely related, are the Boston Terriers. They can hike forever. You can find versions of Boston Terriers that have a little bit longer nose. If you're interested in any of those breeds with the flat faces, try to find someone who's breeding them to have a more natural, longer nose so they don't have the physical problems. So when you do get a dog, what's the best way to civilize them, to make them a good walking partner? First of all, get that training class so that you can walk them easily on leash. I recommend never using a harness. to walk them on leash. Harnesses are for sled dogs. What do sled dogs do? They pull heavy things fast. So what are they going to do when you try to walk them on a harness? They're going to try to pull you hard and fast. So don't walk them in a harness. The lake is totally frozen over this morning. It's pretty cool. And no harnesses on walks. A lot of people these days, I've seen it more and more and more on social media, people talking about how reactive their dogs are. They're behaving horribly on leash. They're getting aggressive. And guess what? They're walking their dogs in a harness. A harness makes it very comfortable for your dog to pull, to lunge, and you have no control. Think of how we control a huge animal like a horse. We control it with a head, by their head, with a harness on their head. So you could choose a collar around their neck. I like the ones that actually don't look kind. They have the prongs, but I like those because the dog can feel it when you're trying to tell it that's not the right behavior. They need to be able to feel it. We don't want it to be ridiculously gentle. We want them to feel, oh, that was the wrong choice I made. The other thing I like about the prong collars is that they don't choke up infinitely like a slip collar would. Another option you can have is to go with a literal horse type harness, and that's like a gentle leader that goes around their nose and their head. You can't correct the dog with one of those, but you can control them really well. You can turn their head away from an approaching dog. So that's sort of my basic overview on whether you should get a dog to increase your enthusiasm for getting out every day, because dogs do need to get out every day, even a tiny dog. If you have more questions, if you've had challenges you want help with, I had a dog training business for more than 20 years, so I would love to answer some of your questions. And if you are curious about habits, such as taking a walk every day, check out my video over here on building habits, maintaining habits. Thanks for stopping by.